Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. Today we kick off with a new study from Reuters and Oxford that's all about how people are actually using generative AI. It's important to note that right now, these types of survey results tend to produce very different answers. This study, for example, shows 20 to 30% of people having not heard of any of the most popular AI tools, which I haven't seen reflected in other studies. The biggest headline coming out of this one is that ChatGPT is being used by 7% of Americans daily. That's around 24 million daily users. On top of that, about 20% of Americans use an LLM at least once a week. Interestingly, if you go on Twitter/X, there are a wildly divergent set of interpretations of this information. Some see this as conclusive proof that AI hype has gotten way ahead of actual usage, while others think that 24 million people using a product that didn't exist 19 months ago every single day is pretty impressive. Professor Ethan Mollick summed up, "You are both early, 47% of Americans say they have never even heard of ChatGPT, and also surprisingly on time. Ultimately, I wouldn't take any one of these particular results as gospel, but they all represent an interesting snapshot of a moment in time." Speaking of OpenAI, the company has announced a big deal with PwC, one of the world's biggest accounting companies. Through the deal, PwC will become what they call OpenAI's first reseller for ChatGPT Enterprise, as well as the largest user of the product. This is something that we're starting to see a lot over at Superintelligent as well. Professional services firms who are in charge of helping people with digital transformation are increasingly bundling AI as part of what they do. PwC writes, "By being on the forefront of OpenAI's models and as the first company to announce integration into its practice, we are uniquely positioned to help clients leverage ChatGPT Enterprise for better and faster ways of working. By embracing ChatGPT Enterprise across our workforce, we will bring our firsthand experience of our AI transformation to clients, complementing our audit, tax, and consulting services with a broad array of business and industry solutions." Obviously, that's press release speak, but basically it suggests that AI and generative AI specifically are a big part of PwC's strategy. They note that they are actively engaged in using Gen AI with 950 out of their top 1,000 consulting clients in the US. Interestingly, in their announcement post, they also say that they've identified over 3,000 internal generative AI use cases, which they say is, quote, "driving an end-to-end transformation within our own business and represents endless potential applications for clients across various industries, including financial services, healthcare, manufacturing, hospitality, and more." Expect to see more of this type of announcement from the big professional services firms in the months to come. Over in the markets, Nvidia just keeps going up. On Tuesday, the company's stock was up another 6%, reaching a market cap of $2.8 trillion, which is just $100 billion away from Apple, which is the second largest company after Microsoft. Said Darren Nathan, the head of equity analysis at Hargreaves Lansdown, "The market has been struggling to keep up with the company's ever-improving growth trajectory. At a mid-30s forward earnings multiple, this still doesn't feel like bubble territory." Of course, not everyone agrees with that assessment, and there are plenty of people chattering about how this, of course, is a bubble, but right now the market clearly does not care about that opinion. Over in the world of partnerships, one of the biggest AI services that many of you listeners probably aren't using is Character.AI. It's aimed at a slightly younger audience and allows people to have long conversations with a variety of different characters, some that they can create, some that are from fiction, and people are using it a lot. New reporting from the Financial Times suggests that Character has been holding exploratory talks with both Meta and xAI around potential partnerships. Rights payments. The discussions have centered on research rather than an acquisition, and no deal has been struck. One of the reasons that this is worth watching is that it could tell us a lot about the difficulty of competing in AI right now. Character.AI is by all accounts an extremely used application, but the cost of running these types of companies is astronomical. And if even they can't work it out, that's going to say a lot about the state of AI moving forward. That is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition. Stay tuned for the main episode.